they give you these metal cans that are attached to this machine, and then they ask you questions to find out.
like an e-meter.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. How do you know all this?
Girl, I told you I know cults.
We can talk about it right here, right now, lanisa. You know we lit. Black and cultivated. Cults ain't just some white people shit. And if we offend you, you can turn us off right now. Click. Cause we gon' talk about it all. Light and darkness, even the evil in politics. That's all, that's it. Black and cultivated. You love it or you hate it.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Black and Cultivated. I have someone in studio who is both Black and cultivated. Welcome in person, Yvette Lovstad. Hey, girl, hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Let me brag on you a bit. In this part, I will be reading. Yvette is a stand-up comedian, actor, and karaoke star. She worked as a guest VJ at MTV, as well as has performed in comedy clubs across the country, including Flappers, New York Comedy Club, Broadway Comedy Club, and The Comedy Store. She is a fellow commercial queen like myself, having appeared in so many commercials like FedEx and UPS. Was that a conflict?
I didn't tell anyone.
Don't ask, don't tell. Yvette aspires to continue to land roles that showcase her comedic timing, including playing the endearing infomercial character who comedically struggles with everyday tasks until a product makes life easier. Hashtag goals. Yvette is not just a name. She is a brand of laughter. Did I get it all right?
You did.
Let's get right into it. What's the name of your cult?
Which one?
Starting-
Scientology
Ooh.
was the first.
Scientology was born in 1954. Okay, boomer. Died? Good news, they still around. Scientology was founded by science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard. Hubbard developed a set of beliefs and practices based on his book Dianetics, which he claimed could help individuals achieve spiritual enlightenment and self-improvement by giving up a lot of your money and a lot of yourself. If you're looking to swipe right, L. Ron Hubbard was about 6 feet tall, but he was not a zaddy. He was a lip-lacking white dude with tragic teeth. Seriously, his dental hygiene was lacking. The U.S. really needs to include dental care into a basic human right, but that's besides the point. Interests include e-reading meters, auditing, missionary-style street recruiting, real estate, because I swear they own half of L.A., looking for people with money, and I'm talking money. A person who loves a uniform because they love to play dress up, and you better know how to keep a secret. Hashtag, where is Shelley Miscavige? Scientology.
Yes.
Okay, we are in the A+ of cults now. They are the private school of cults, the Beverly Hills of cults, but it's not every day that we hear from Black Scientologists. So lead us through your experience, lead us through your journey into Scientology and what that was like as a Black person too. How would you get into it?
Okay. That's the funniest part. I was in New York City.
Where all things good happen.
All things great were happening. And I kept walking past this place that said Celebrity Center. And I had just moved to New York to start my career in acting. And so I was just like, oh my goodness, what is this?
Now, had you heard of Scientology prior to then?
Had not.
Oh.
Knew nothing about it. Walked in and the woman at the front desk said, come in. Oh, here, let me show you a quick video. It's about 45 minutes. Do you have time? And I said, sure. Or maybe it was 30. I don't know. The long and short of it was I went in and I watched the movie. And it was all about Dianetics. And I was like, oh, this seems logical. And so from there, I just started taking what they call courses. And you have to pay to play.
Okay, so back up. When you were there for your career, did you tell them, hey, I'm an actor. I'm here for...
I did. And I asked the woman, I said, what kind of celebrities come in? And she said, well, you know, we can't really talk about that. And then she asked me if I knew anything about Scientology. I told her no. And again, it was just all about this movie, Dianetics.
Like, okay.
And
did they give you snacks?
No.
Even though I was in a cult myself, I know for a fact, they don't give you snacks, I'm out.
You know what? You're right. And I didn't think about that. I'm thinking about that now.
Yeah.
I probably would have stayed longer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good thing they didn't give me snacks.
Okay, so you watched this movie and you were like, all right, cool. And they said, come back tomorrow.
She did schedule me to come back to speak with someone. This was so many years ago. This was circa 1997.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long time ago. And I came back. They talked to me about what was going on in my life. What did I want to make better in my life? How could Scientology help me become a famous actress?
Ooh, and see, I feel like that's where a lot of us can get got, because as both of us are actors, we will do anything to pursue our dreams. We will do anything to achieve them. And if someone's like, I can help you, of course, it's a gateway in.
It was, and it wasn't a casting couch. And so
Exactly.
I was all for it. Yes. And I was very curious about different religions and different things at the time. I'd grown up Catholic, but I had studied like a lot of other different spiritual
So you were
practices.
open.
Correct. So to me, it was like, okay, if I'm just learning more about myself and about my spirituality and about how I can better my body and my mind all at once, why not?
Did you share what you were a part of with other people that are outside of Scientology? And if so, what did they say?
I did. I was living with my sister's mother-in-law at the time. And she was like, stay away from them. Don't go back. But
Interesting.
being young, I was just like, well, it's not that bad. And I wanted to learn. I wanted to know more. And again, I was in New York trying to do the whole acting thing. And so I didn't listen to her and kind of just made my own way. And she was really just trying to help me be my own person and allowing me to make my own mistakes. So it was that kind of thing. But at the same time, still kind of in my ear of like, be careful.
Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have someone that says, I can make all your dreams come true.
Right.
All you have to do
is buy this course. And
now,
then buy
when did
the
they
next
spring that
course.
on it? Okay, so we've started going a little bit more. You went to the 45-minute training with no snacks, and then you came back. You see, I'm still stuck there. You came back to another. I'm pissed. Scientology, you could get more people if you provide snacks.
And now I feel like a bigger sucker because I didn't get snacks. I didn't even get water.
At what point do they spring on you, hey, we need you to pay for courses?
Literally in that second meeting. So I watched the video, scheduled my meeting, and in that meeting was when, okay, well, listen, you can take this course. This is going to help you a lot. It's going to give you a basic foundation for what you want to do with your life. And it was kind of like, in college, how you have to do prerequisite courses.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. So I was just like, okay. I mean, straight out of college, I had only been out of college for a year.
So you're already trained mentally to go through a ritual of, great, take classes, take courses.
Right.
This is how you improve yourself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Also in Catholicism, I grew up Catholic. So it was always, you've got to do this and do this and do this before you can move forward. So, where in life are you not taught that you have to have a foundation? And so this is what Scientology also worked on. You've got to do this first level before you can go higher.
It preyed on the fact that we're used to these kind of rituals that lead us down this hierarchy.
Right.
Were you balling back then? Were you like,
no?
Oh,
No.
okay.
No.
So where the money come from?
The very first course was only something like $45.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cute.
Right. And I had a job.
I
had
could
a
do
job.
that.
So I did that. But the second course, I borrowed the money from my friend. And so she was like, okay, I'll loan you the money. It sounds like a good plan.
She didn't know either.
She did not.
Oh my God.
She did not. She loaned me the money. I paid her back in full. looking back on it now, but it's always that whole thing of like, you're young, what do you know? And the woman at the desk who initially helped me watch the video and got me, convinced me along with this other woman to take the first class. She was an actor. The woman who sat me down in that first meeting was a dancer. She had been a professional dancer for years, and I think she worked with the New York City Ballet and some other major company.
So, of course.
So the Celebrity Center, as they call it, is literally just for artists. Yeah. So they have a specific section of Scientology just for artists. So that was a separate...
I wonder why.
Yeah, that was a separate part of the church. And it was all for the creatives. And that's where they would, get together and decide, okay, who else do we want to bring in? It was kind of like their own manifesting ritual, even though they don't call it manifesting.
Oh.
But, not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun. Like, I was in a private concert of less than 12 people with Dougie Fresh. Yeah. I got invited to Isaac Hayes' 50th birthday party. Yes. That was phenomenal. And he gave out the greatest gift bags with these like little bottles of gin.
What? That's so random.
It was gin and a few other things. And like some of the Scientologists that didn't like to drink, they gave me all their gin. So like, I had this like super expensive Malacca gin.
Yeah.
That for years.
You're like, thank you.
I met like a lot of well-known celebrities.
Right.
And that was part of the whole
appeal.
thing of why I wanted to stay. I was like, okay, this can happen for me.
Yeah.
And then they would whisk this person in secretly and you would know that they were doing their training, or they had this one course called the Purification Rundown, where it's actually, I wanted to do it, but they wouldn't let me, and I'll get to that.
Uh-oh, were you banned?
I was banned because I had taken psychoactive medication, and not by choice, but I had been given Valium once at an ER. And because of that, I couldn't take this course because you could never be on any type of like antidepressants or any drug given to you by a psychiatrist. And Valium is something that's given by psychiatrists. And so they're so anti-psychiatry, but to the point where it was like, oh, well, you can't take this course. And all the Purification Rundown is a way of physically detoxing your body of toxins, drugs, alcohol, environmental toxins.
Which sounds amazing on the outside. Yeah. Like, that sounds great. Yeah.
So what it is like you're running on a treadmill to get your blood pumping.
Wait, and maybe this don't sound great. You got to do what?
You're running, like literally you're running on a treadmill to get your blood pumping, and you're taking things like niacin and all these other vitamins. But the niacin is to help open up your pores so that you can sweat out all these toxins. And you're sitting in a sauna for hours and drinking water.
With people?
Yeah.
So like Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You go and
do this one course to just clean your body and clear yourself so that you are able to intake better. And honestly, I wanted to do it because I had taken so many drugs in college.
You're like,
and I was
I
like,
need this.
Shit. I was like, what? And then they wouldn't let me because I did Valium. And I was like, I didn't purposely take Valium.
Did
and
you tell them? Because you were very honest.
Yes, to a fault.
Why don't you lie?
It's too late now because now I'm excommunicated.
Right.
Let's take a break.
I'm sorry that you did not get to take that course.
Yeah. My ex-husband, who doesn't even believe in religion, got to take that course.
What?
Yeah. He was working for Scientologists, and that's how I met him.
And yes. And I want to get to the working parts because you got in it.
Oh my God, yes, I did.
At what point did you start working for them, and what were you doing? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, this is the crazy. I started working for a couple that was Scientologists. And then they were raising their kids as Scientologists. And their nanny, who was my ex-husband, was not a religious person at all, did not believe in Scientology, doesn't even believe in God. And after that, all that, like I stopped working for them. And then that's how I started working actually as a person, quote unquote, on staff at Scientology. So I was a staff member. And so I was training. And then that's when I got to see all the crazy, the kooky, the this, the that. And honestly, here's the other part. Like, a lot of these people were really good people. Yeah. There were some people, like the couple that I worked for prior to joining staff, that were horrifying, horrible people. And it was just like, how is it that in Scientology you're supposed to be a good person, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to be, you know, a better human being? You know, they compare themselves to like the average, normal, everyday person. They even have a word for it called WOGs.
WOGS?
Yes. So that means you're not, basically, in today's terms, you're not woke.
Oh.
Yes, you're a WOG. And I mean, it's crazy thinking about all these things. They've names and terms for everything. And so they start to develop a language. So one, it can isolate you from other people as well. Right.
That's what it sounds like.
Yes.
Like if you develop your own internal language, then it's like, oh, they don't know this?
Correct.
They're different.
Right. The everyday layman is a WOG.
Ooh, I'm a WOG.
You're a WOG. And it just, basically, it's a way of saying we're better than them. Yeah. Right. And so it's also another way of trying to elevate you so that you feel better about this cult that you're in, you know? And they won't call it a cult. They'll call it a religion. Right.
So actually, let me jump on that point, the idea of feeling better than people. I've talked to many people now who say, I felt better than other people because I was in my cult. That idea of like, I might have to suffer in this way, but at least I'm not a WOG.
Right.
I think I'm going to be saved. Did you have any of those kind of thoughts or feelings like, well, hey, at least I'm a Scientologist?
Honest to God, I'm not going to lie. I feel like no. And the reason is because I never got to do my purification rundown.
I think we need to go to therapy for that. That's the
Listen, they excluded me from the get. Okay?
Should we do our own?
Yes.
We could create our own purification ritual.
We could.
We could go down to Wee Spa in Koreatown.
Oh my God, for real?
Get a scrub, run around the building, and then sit in the spa.
Okay, quick, let's go.
And then bring some niacin. Where you get niacin from?
Oh, GNC.
Boom. Because fuck Scientology for not letting you in. We gonna make our own.
But I mean, I can't make fun of it. And the reason I can't make fun of the purification rundown is because Narconon, they actually it's proven science that it is proven science that the purification rundown works and helps to get drugs and everything out of your system. And it's the only thing that like has been, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, besides scientifically proven, there's, you know, where they've actually done tests.
The studies on it.
Studies,
yeah.
Thank you. To show that people who have done, like Narconon has done studies to show that drug addicts, former drug addicts who have done this purification rundown never go back to drugs. Yeah, because it literally
flushes you out.
It cleanses your like from the inside out. You're literally just flushing everything out of your system.
Did you need to pay $800 for it?
I mean,
$800. No. We could do one for like $50.
I mean, they just know the regimen, you know, because they created it.
We can Google it.
Let's do it.
Now that I think about it, so in my cult, my mom was not in. My dad was in. But we're same family, same household. There was always a part of me that never got to get in stuff 100% because members of my church were like, well, your mom's not in, so you're different.
See?
So the back of my head, I always was like, something ain't right. Y'all weird. This is odd. Just because they didn't let me in fully. Had they let me in,
right,
it would have been over.
You know?
When you were working for them, was that money? First of all, did you make money?
No, my salary was something like 27 cents an hour. So I was basically working for free and living in this insane apartment with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other Scientologists. We had our own room. It was on the Upper West Side. I'm giving too many details.
I love it. I love it.
Any of them that listen to this, they're going to be like, wait, that's us.
me.
Yeah, with 13 cats.
13.
13 cats.
I wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
No snacks, and I'm allergic to cats. This is not the cult for me.
The snacks.
I'll tell you.
The snacks.
Just want a snack. Would not have survived. Again, it goes back to our course.
I'm snorting.
Our course on how to do a cult.
That's true.
Snacks.
That is true. Snacks.
So
Right.
27 cents.
So I was making 27 cents an hour living with a bunch of other Scientologists, 2 of which were not on staff out of all those people. How many did I say? I can't even remember now. But the 13 cats also were not on staff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they moved me into this apartment because somebody else had moved out. It was rent stabilized, so this woman was making a killing off of us, $450 a month for my room, which back in at this point now, 1998, 99 in New York was
Yeah.
super cheap because I was
Yeah.
on the Upper West Side. Like, it was prime real estate,
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Yeah. Nice place.
Yeah, it really was, except for having all the roommates.
And 13 cats.
Yeah. And so I had to like do odd jobs on the side to make money. One of the people that I was doing an odd job for was another staff member who wanted help cleaning his house. And he had been on staff for something like over a dozen years. He wanted help cleaning his apartment in Brooklyn, his brownstone, or not apartment. It was him and his wife's brownstone. And she was away working on a ship. And so I was going there and he would.
Like a Scientology ship?
Yes, they have their own ship. Like it's like a cruise ship.
Is that the Sea Org?
Yes, you know a lot.
Oh, I know cults. I like their costumes.
I know, right?
They are
Yeah.
cute.
So she was away at the Sea Org and he was still on staff at the Celebrity Center. And so I would go clean his house. Oh, and also he hit on me. That was interesting.
Gross.
Because I was young and I was hot.
You still are hot.
I know. Thank you.
You're still hot. Okay. Still hot.
It was all a thing. Like one day he was at work talking to me, and as we were talking, he was standing and I was sitting, and then he just started to get an erection.
Ew.
And I was like, and then he freaked out because I freaked out and he ran away. And then I told people, oh, and then they have those cans, right? So I had to go do the whole can scenario. Have you ever seen that online or anywhere? Okay, so some people call it a lie detector, but they give you these metal cans that are attached to this machine, and then they ask you questions to find
Like
out.
an e-meter.
Yes, that's exactly
Okay.
what it is. How do you know all this?
Girl, I told you I know cults.
So they made me do the e-meter to ask me questions about what happened with him, and
You did the e-meter.
several times.
But what for 27 cents was your job?
I was just training. I was training to have a job, so I needed to study and.
So you
do
weren't the
more
people on the
courses.
street that we see.
No, I was literally just in the building, sometimes answering phones at the front desk.
Okay.
Greeting people when they came in. And then most of the time, my job was just to sit and train. What they do is they ask you, what do you like? What do you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I like what this person does. So I needed to be at like a really high level. And based on what I wanted to do, my job at that point was just to train so that I could eventually get to this high level.
Now, what's going on in your personal career?
Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
All right. So you.
It did nothing for me other than get me a free concert and a birthday party invitation. Yeah.
So you're
again, not the worst.
Right. That was fun times.
Not the worst.
But you were not at film premieres auditioning.
No.
Okay.
No.
Nor did they support.
No. Okay. It was like, well, once you do all these things and then you do start auditioning, you're going to just excel because you know yourself, and you're going to be better than everyone else at the auditions, and you're going to feel great. But the crazy part was, I had become really good friends with the woman at the front desk who initially got me to see the movie, who was also an actor. So the more I spoke with her and the more I spoke with this other guy who was one of my apartment mates, right? Roommates, whatever you call them in New York. Roommates. Cult mates. Yeah. He was a writer. And like none of these people were working on their art.
Nobody's working.
And neither was his fiance, who was also an actress and singer. No one was working on their art. So everyone that was on staff that should be better, blah, blah, blah. No one was auditioning. No one was taking another acting class. No one was networking. Like, you were supposed to do all that at Scientology, and it was supposed to just open up doors for you because, like, Tom Cruise or someone could say, hey, I might need this person, because that was also a story they told. This is how Tom Cruise met his assistant, or this is how blah, blah, blah met that person and their assistant. And from there, their assistant got to go work for this other person.
They're selling you a pipe dream.
Right.
So are you saying Tom Cruise did not come back and teach Meisner?
He did not.
Okay. Cool.
He did not.
All right, I was just wondering. You eventually had some red flags. What was your journey out? You're working for them for 3 cents. What's happening now?
I just said I can't do this anymore. And so I think I said it enough times where they were like, well, you signed a contract. And I was like, well, that contract ain't paying my rent. That it just was like, you can say whatever until you're blue in the face. But the reality is I got bills. I got rent. I'm not going to be homeless. You're not paying my rent.
What did the contract say?
Oh, literally that you are a lifetime employee of the Church of Scientology.
Employee?
Yes. Wow. So for life, you're signing a contract that says for life.
Okay.
And because I left, and that was the other thing, they're like, well, if you leave, you are going to be considered someone who's PTS, which means a potential trouble source. So this is the other great part about Scientology. They don't take account for their own actions ever. It's always everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh, this happened to me because you're PTS. This happened to me because this is that person's PTS. Like, that person's a potential trouble source, and I stubbed my toe because of that person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that craziness. Like, all these chaotic, horrible things are happening to me because this person came into my life. Right.
So there's no accountability for self.
None. And that was part of also what I learned when I was living and working with this couple and had met my ex-husband, that it was like they had no accountability for anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Like the worst human beings ever. And I'm like, you've paid thousands and thousands of dollars to be better people, and you
suck.
So leaving the church and leaving being on staff, I became immediately PTS, and all my friends had to cut ties with me. They could no longer speak to me.
And what was that like?
It was fine. Bye.
Because by that point, I assume you're like done. You're like,
I'm like, because if you don't want to be friends with me after all the fun we had, and you already know my character, and just because I left the church and all of a sudden I'm a quote unquote potential trouble source, fuck off. You're not my real friend.
What do you think gave you, because a lot of people, that's hard for a lot of people who are in a cult and to get out. What gave you that strength? How did you know to do that? Is that just in you?
It is just in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my family's upbringing. I did not have a good father, and my mother taught us just to be
The resilience of it.
Yes. I'll go into that. My mother was a battered wife, and she took us, not having any family here in the United States, because she's Filipino, or was. She took us and ran away for safety. And so learning from my mother, if something ain't right, if you see red flags, get the fuck out and don't look back. And so, chills, right? My mother was an amazing woman, and she was my hero. She taught me a lot.
Well, what an amazing example.
Yeah.
It's amazing, like, what we get from people and don't even realize it at the time. But when you probably were like, okay, bye, I ain't got no issues with this.
And they were like, what? I'm like,
I'm not sad, boo. I'm not sad.
Yeah.
You didn't let me do purification.
For real, though. For real.
I'm not sad.
Had you guys let me clean my body and my mind, we wouldn't have this problem. I'd still be in Scientology, jumping up and down on couches, screaming Oprah's name like Tom Cruise and been like, Oprah. But I mean, I would maybe have met Oprah.
That's
now.
okay. We can still we'll still meet her. She go hear
Please.
this podcast and she's gonna be like,
Pretty please.
you get to meet me and you get to meet me.
Everybody gets to meet me.
That's happening. But I want to ask really quickly, Black and Scientology. Did you meet other Black Scientologists? Were there discussions? How was race handled?
I did. I met one other woman.
Just one.
Well, I mean, Dougie Fresh and
Okay, Isaac Hayes.
yeah. They were the famous one. I met one other woman who was also on staff, but then she got sent away to the Sea Org, which is considered a promotion. But that also turned into drama because her loving husband was like, they won't let me speak to her. They won't let me see her. Yeah, like there was a lot of crazy going on. And even this guy who really believed in Scientology and his wife really believed in Scientology, you could tell he was like, this isn't right. And I don't know what to do to get my wife back.
It sounds like within it too, there's so much drama and so many other things distracting that you don't even have time to talk about or pay attention or be part of other conversations because you're so focused on making your 27 cents.
I mean, as I was doing everything and I was taking my lessons and, I was sitting down, I was studying. Honestly, I'm the type of person that I'll be studying, but I see and I notice everything that's happening around me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of that scenario where it's like, because people think you're just studying, they think you're not paying attention.
Oh, we paying attention.
Right. And so there was just so much drama. And I think what happened was when the husband was concerned about his wife that he couldn't see anymore, that was my biggest red flag. That's what snapped me out. And I was like, okay, this shit is not right. I like to believe, and knock on wood, I feel like those of us who stand up for ourselves and what we believe in and what's right, when others see that, they know it's okay to follow suit.
We'll be right back.
Where did you go next?
So I joined this thing called One Taste. Orgasmic meditation.
A quick profile on One Taste. They were born in 2004, our first Gen Z cult, and died, well, they still kind of here. One Taste was founded by Nicole Dedon, and the group focuses on the practice of orgasmic meditation, a mindfulness practice that involves a structured form of partner touch. After an expose by Bloomberg and an FBI investigation, One Taste closed all of its U.S. locations and stopped in-person classes. So, they have rebranded themselves as the Institute of Om, and its owner, Nicole Dedon, when not focusing on her, at the time of this recording, upcoming trial, has a thriving orgasm business. She was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit forced labor, including allegations of economic, sexual, emotional, psychological, and indoctrination abuse. If you choose to swipe right, our lady leader, Nicole Dedon, is a writer, speaker, entrepreneur who developed the practice orgasmic meditation. Nicole is a 56-year-old white lady, and she's cute. maybe it's the orgasms. She looks like the type of lady that subscribes to Goop and gets smoothies from Erewhon. Interests include orgasms. They're looking for folks who are interested in getting their orgasm on and folks that have money, because after a while, these classes could get expensive. Scientology, I could be like, okay, yeah, we everywhere, fine. But orgasmic meditation, which does sound awesome, but talk to me.
It was
How the
awesome.
fuck did you get into One Taste? Were you the only Negro? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get into One Taste?
How do you think? A man.
God dang it.
So I met this really hot guy.
Ooh. I think I would have done it too, though. I ain't gonna lie.
He was a former pro tennis player. Hi. And then as we were texting, because he lived in another state, as we were texting, he said to me, oh, you should try orgasmic meditation. Have you ever heard of this? And I was like, no. And I was like, is he just being freaky now all of a sudden? Right?
All right.
He sent me the link and I watched this video, and it shows you in the video how it's all done. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
And you were like, okay, I'll go.
I was like, yeah, why not? And so then they happened to be like, I think it was the following month, Nicole Dadone, who was the head of this organization, happened to be doing workshops in New York City the following month. And so I was like, you know what? I'll sign up. So I did, because the whole purpose was to get a woman to ask for what she wants and then to receive it.
Which sounds beautiful.
It is, because women have a hard time asking for what they want, and then they also have a hard time receiving, right? So the whole point of this is to get a man to, I'm like, all demure as I tell the world, yes,
I love it.
I had my clitoris stroked by a random man. So it's literally for a man to stroke your clitoris gently and very softly, and for you to literally orgasm. But in between, you have to ask for what you want.
But wait, do you know the person that will?
No. So it's a room full of people. A woman just takes her bottoms off. It's a room full of people. A woman takes her bottoms off. There's a special pillow that a man provides for you. It's basically a yoga pillow, the round one, that you lay up on top of, right? So you're laying on a yoga mat with this pillow, so you're a little raised up so he can see it better, right? And they put a little lube on, and then they just go. And then you switch. Like, after you orgasm or after a certain amount of time, then you rotate partners. You can go with people you know. I didn't go with anyone I knew because the person I knew was out of state. So I got paired up with someone who had been doing this.
So you're like, hi, my name is Yvette.
Pretty much.
He's like, I'm David.
Yeah, pretty much.
Stroke you now.
Yeah.
I mean.
And they time it, and it's a room full of people.
Is this bad?
It honestly wasn't.
Is it? Okay. There were MLM pyramid scheme culty practices within it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But
that's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you're in the group setting, you're fine.
Yeah.
But the moment you go into the smaller settings, that's how they get you.
So how do you get in a smaller setting?
So in the group workshop, if you keep going, eventually you get to know the people on staff, right?
Oh.
And it's kind of
inner circle.
Right. And from there they say, oh, well, we're doing this private OM. They would call it OMing. We're doing a private OMing. You should come. You know, blah, blah, blah.
Literally.
And I did.
You know I had to do that.
I'm not mad at it.
That was good.
They invited me to this private group. And then, again, there's more people that I haven't met. So it's not just their little group of people, right? Yeah. But it's smaller than this huge workshop. And then, yeah.
Is it a different cost?
Yeah. So the big workshop was something like $145 or something. And then the donation was $10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Okay.
I didn't pay
$10,
for sex, but I paid to orgasm.
She did not pay
I
for
did-
sex, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
She
I
did
did not.
not pay for sex. Okay, just want to make it clear.
Thank you.
No problem. Where's the bad part about this?
So here's the bad part about
Okay,
this.
thank you.
The closer you get to these people that are on staff, right, the more they get to know you from these smaller groups, the more they start to invite you to even smaller groups where it's just staff members. Come to our house. So we have a house where we all live. Come hang out. Come chat. And it literally is just a chat. Like there's no sex or anything. But then that's when I start to learn about more of what they do. So now in this house where they all rent space.
Another like commune?
Yes.
Okay.
You find out that they're all just fucking each other. They're telling me, everybody fucks each other. It's not a big deal. Literally.
Okay, you're fucking.
So it's now more than just the oming.
Okay.
They're all now just fucking each other. And that's when you start to find out as they're talking to you, they're just having girl chat, girl conversation, because it's only the women at this point. The men have left. And it turns out the men have left to go to another floor because they're doing the same thing with other people that they're trying to recruit. I ran into one of the Om girls when I moved here almost 9 years ago. And she told me that they were being investigated and that she was also one of the people pressing charges. She said to me, I'm getting in trouble for things that I didn't even do. It's all stuff that Nicole did. And Nicole was telling me to do this, that. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. People always they tell me everything. People tell me everything. And also like, I'm this magical black woman.
Are you the magical Negro?
I mean, I am smart, but can I fucking fix my own life?
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, here comes the magical Negro to fix everything.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't know.
So it sounds like other people didn't have that kind of freedom, though. The freedom to say no, the freedom to not be coerced in that way, which is why there are charges now being brought up on them. What did it look like you leaving them? Were you just like deuces?
It was fine. I just didn't go to any more of their events. I was oming at home for a while with one partner that I had met there. And even with him, after a while, I was like, okay, I'm done. Yeah. So
like I'm over it.
Well, there came a time in our experience where I had learned to receive, right? I had learned to ask for what I wanted. I had learned to receive, but then I also learned that experience would have felt more magical, since we're using that word.
Like
it would have felt more magical, more personal, more intimate with somebody I actually loved, right? So I got what I needed out of it. And so I was like, okay, I learned. I'm done. Yeah.
Scientology and the Om group, those are higher control groups, meaning like they want your energy. They want your time. They want your money.
Right.
You've been in a couple of them. Is there something that you feel like you feel comfortable in those kinds of groups? Or is it similar to most of us in cults? We don't know until we get into it.
I think for me, I'm eager to learn about myself and experience new things, right? And if there's something that can make me a better human being, I'll try it. I'll try almost anything once. Almost anything. And definitely in those instances, I didn't realize that they were really cults, per se. You know what I mean? Honestly. And even like when I left, I still don't think I realized that they were cults.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like I did what I needed to do, and then somehow, yes, exactly, peaced out. And I think, honestly, let's fast forward to Apple. I didn't even realize how culty Apple was until I was out.
Or acting.
And I make jokes about this in stand-up at open mic sometimes. I'm like, okay, this is a cult.
Yeah.
And all comedians are like, no, it's not. No,
Yes,
it's
it
not.
is.
But it totally is.
Improv?
Totally.
Have you seen
Totally.
Second City groups? Cult.
Yes.
That's culty.
Yes.
I always say no one wakes up and says, I want to join a cult.
Right.
I was born into mine. So I'm always curious about folks that like, I go in to this environment and it's just remembering the idea of like, well, you didn't wake up to do that. You woke up to learn and be open and be a good human.
Right.
And how fucking dare these people take advantage of that. And that's what they continue to do.
Right.
Which is disgusting.
I feel like, unfortunately, that is, I don't know, maybe this is a popular opinion and not an unpopular opinion. That's the make of America.
Yeah.
Honest to God, what is consumerism?
Yeah.
You know, what is this whole let's pledge allegiance to our flag?
Yeah.
And I'm not downing being nationalistic. I'm
Our faith, it's
right.
when you use it for an ulterior motive.
Right. You're abusing it.
Absolutely.
When you're abusing people's goodwill, it's not okay. And I think that is the problem with everything, and especially these organizations that prey on the knowledge, you know, these bigger than life people who are like, okay, come follow me. I'm going to help you. I'm going to make your life better. And then you've got like all these little minions under them that are like, oh my goodness, it really is going to make your life better.
Because they've also been got too.
Right.
And no one wants to admit that, oh shit, I fell into this. Right. The shame behind it.
Right.
Which is one reason I wanted to talk about stuff, especially I think for Black and brown people, there's this idea of shame.
Yeah.
Because we don't say that we were in a cult.
Right.
God forbid. But we out here.
Right.
We have a story.
Right.
It can happen to anybody. And I'm glad you're out.
Thanks.
And we go get some snacks.
Snacks.
And we're going to have a cleansing day.
We
are.
Are we going to do my own?
Yeah. We're going to do it.
Purification rundown?
And it won't be
Can
$800.
Can we call it something else?
Yeah, fuck that.
What are we going to call it?
Okay.
Are we starting a new cult?
Actually,
no, we're not.
This leads me to my next question. Now to play some fun and games. If you had no morals whatsoever, I know, what kind of cult would you run?
Oh, damn. That's a good question. I have thought about that.
Exactly.
I'm not going to lie.
I think anyone that's been in a cult has also thought about, like, what kind of cult would I do?
You know,
is it money? Is it power?
Honestly, my cult would be bettering this world.
See,
unlike the other ones.
You are the second person to say that.
They all say that. You know, and that's what the purpose of all these cults are. But honestly, yeah.
Okay.
I would, you know, because, all right, first of all, artists are amazing.
Yeah.
We're amazing. And we light up the world, right?
That's true.
So part of my cult would be to, like, it wouldn't be called a commune or anything, but I would do, like, discounted rent for artists, and we would grow our own fruits and vegetables on the roof.
This is not a cult. This is how life should be. That's how it should be.
It really is. It is how it should be.
I like that our utopia is like...
I mean... It's because we're broke ass.
I know.
We are broke ass, you know, creating art and laughter and all this stuff for everyone else, but we need to feed ourselves as well.
Facts.
You know, and yeah. If I really had no morals.
None.
Oh God, this is bad. At one point in my life when I was young, I always wanted to be a madam.
Ooh.
Yeah. But because sex trafficking right now is so horrible, I now see it's no longer good. But the way I saw it back then, you know, these women would have a lot of money. They'd have a lot of freedom. You know, I was looking at, you know, starting my own, like, high-class call girl service.
Yeah.
You know, but
I can see you as a madam.
I mean, I'd make an awesome madam.
You'd be so fun.
I'd be like, oh, my God, girl.
Your outfits would be so cute, too.
Oh. Thank you.
Let's play a game called Cult or Nah. I'm going to name a few things.
Okay.
You're going to tell me whether or not you think it's a cult
Oh.
or not.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with Hennessy.
Oh, wow.
The cult of drinking Hennessy.
Definitely a cult.
Okay. Yeah. People love Hennessy.
It's stupid. It's just fucking Henny.
I was like, I don't even
it tastes
like
good,
it.
but it's not that great.
It's not that good.
No.
Oprah.
Oh, don't do this to me.
I know.
Yeah.
The cult.
I love her.
The cult of Oprah.
I'm part of it.
Okay, cool. We're in it. Astrology.
Cult or nah? I mean, it's the occult.
Ooh.
It really is.
I know,
It's
you're right.
It's
You're
considered the occult.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, so much of Christianity is actually stolen from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Manifesting.
No.
Ooh.
Listen, that's just part of life.
Ooh. See, I don't know. The cult of like, you have to manifest and journal in order to.
No.
Ooh, interesting. I'm like, okay.
It's just science.
Ooh. I gotta think on that one. Let's do one more. Brunch.
In LA, yes.
Everyone I've talked to has said that brunch is a cult, and I think it's fucking hilarious.
It is.
Yeah. Brunch is a cult.
Because we don't be doing that. I mean, we do brunch.
We do brunch.
In New York and in other places, but not like here.
LA
like here, it's like
brunches.
ridiculous.
And it's expensive.
It's
For
ridiculous.
some fucking eggs.
Right?
Fuck your eggs.
$18.99
Yeah.
for 2 scrambled eggs.
Fuck that shit.
You know?
Yeah, it's a cult. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything you would like to leave our listeners with?
No is a complete sentence. It is okay to say no. And it's okay to say, fuck off. I'm leaving.
Period.
Black and CULTivated is a production of Laugh Now or Wait Till Later. Created and hosted by Lanisa Renee Frederick. Produced by Yinka Rickford Angwin and Lanisa Renee Frederick. Video, audio editing, and all things tech, Antonio Ruiz and Jamil Nelson. Special thanks to Kevin Fredericks and Kev on Stage Studios. Leah Friars, Kara O'Connor, and Amir Edwards. Theme song by Rufus Moore. And finally, thank you. Thank you to each and every one of my guests for courageously opening up and sharing your personal stories on our podcast. Your strength, your resilience, and willingness to share is an inspiration. And for that, I am truly grateful. Deuces.